Hey guys, what's going on? Tonight we're going to talk about this knife. This is the Kizer Swags is the designer. Vanguard series Swayback pocket knife. And let's start off with doing some size comparison. You guys know me, I don't like to really do the ordinary size comparison things to start off with. So here it is next to a OXO Good Grips apple cutter. So as you can see, it's a little bit longer, almost the same length as a OXO Good Grips apple cutter. Here it is next to a whiteout pen. So it's a little bit longer than that. Here it is next to a Bic lighter. And then for a few knives to look at, here it is next to my standby, the Paramilitary 3. As you can see, it's about the same length as the Paramilitary 3, but of course a much smaller size in profile. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh yeah, and then our regulars, one of our regulars anyway, here it is next to the Formax Scout from Cold Steel Knives. All right, so first thing I want to do is talk about swayback. What's a swayback? A swayback is a pattern of a knife that comes from a traditional, and this is kind of a modern version of a traditional pattern. Pattern is a shape of a handle and blade on a knife, and this is a swayback, and the reason they call it a swayback is because the back of it has a bit of a sway to it. And so let's look at it next to some other swaybacks, some traditional ones, and you can kind of see how they get that design, that pattern. This is one that is from Schatt & Morgan, which is Queen Cutlery. And it's about the same size, but you can see it's a much more drastic swayback, and it's got the bulbous end on it. And here it is next to a Case swayback, which is a much smaller knife. So you can see that the one thing that's really lacking in this swayback design is the bulbous end, which is kind of too bad. I kind of wish they would have done that, because that really affords you a really nice grip. And one of the things that that bulbous end does is, if you're using this knife for whittling or carving, it keeps it from twisting in your hand. And of course, these all three have Wharncliffe style blades, which is pretty common for a swayback design. So what is it? What else do we got going on here? Let's do some measurements. And this knife, I'll start off with telling you that it is 2.79 ounces. It has a right at 4-inch handle. I'm not getting a good measurement here. Trying to do this through about a 2 3/4 inch blade or cutting edge. 2 15/16 inch blade. It is about 7/8 of an inch overall height. It is a 1/2 inch thick. The blade is an N690 blade. As you can see, like I said, this is a Wharncliffe, and it's a button lock. So you get that button lock action. Wharncliffe blade, a really nice stone wash on it, has that really nice swedge on top. Has fair jimping. It's not super aggressive. It's kind of nice. You can see by the stuff on the blade and the marks and stuff that I have been using this knife. I use my knives. N690 is very comparable to VG10. It's not what I would consider a super steel, but it is a good steel. It stays sharp for an okay amount of time, but the nice thing about it is it's easier to resharpen. You're not going to get the wear resistance like you do out of S30V or S35. VN or anything like that. Its blade stock is about an 1/8 inch, maybe just a fuzz bit under, and it's ground fairly thin behind the edge. I would say it's a little bit thicker behind the edge than, say, this knife right here, which is also a button lock. This is the Kizer Comrant. This is much thinner behind the edge because it's a hollow grind. That would have been kind of cool as a hollow grind, I think. I don't know if they can do that with the Warncliffe style blade though. So it's a decent slicer, really good. The tip makes it for a good piercer for piercing packaging. Like I said, N690 steel is okay. So, you know, it's a pretty decent blade. I like the look of it a lot. And that's one of the reasons I got this knife, is purely on the look. It's a different design. It's one of the few real affordable modern swaybacks out there. There's other modern swaybacks, but most of them are very expensive. This is not that expensive. It's like about $50, $60. The button lock works really well. Action on it's really good. The flipper has a little bit of jimping on the front of it. It's kind of weird. Like, look at the distance back on it from the front of the knife. That took like a little bit of getting used to, but it does flip readily. Like, the detent is perfect. You can't, I mean, almost can't misfire it. So that's nice. It's a little tiny bit sharp up here in the top. I think that would have been really cool if they would have done a flipper tab like that on there. And this is one of my favorite flipper tabs. Nice, rounded, smooth, works really well. You get a little extra leverage because of the way it points forward. I don't know why more knife companies don't do that, but they seem to make them either straight or back like this one. This one being straight, of course. So you get a little bit of a, what is called a pocket pecker in your pocket. This thing's going to be tap, tap, tapping on it. So yeah, the pocket clip is very shiny, which I'm not a huge fan of. But, you know, if you're going to have a shiny pocket clip, this one's pretty nice. I like the swags on there with the little heart. That's pretty cool. It carries not super deep, but it does carry nicely. And as you can see inside of there, the stainless liners, everything's nice and smooth on them. This doesn't have the issues of other knives I've had where the G10 is sharp here in the corners. Even though it's kind of blocky in shape, it is slightly contoured. It's a little bit thinner here than it is in the back. But it's nice. It's rounded, smooth enough. Even though it's kind of blocky, it doesn't hurt your hand any, which is really nice. I appreciate that quite a bit. Like I said, nice drop shed action on it. It is ambidextrous, which with a button lock makes sense. It is a captured pivot, so taking it apart's fairly easy. I didn't do a disassembly video on this knife because I just did a button lock. So you can go look at my Comrant disassembly video, look inside, and you will see kind of the basics on how a button lock works, and this is really no different. So all that is good. All that is good. There's not really a whole lot bad with this knife. I do kind of wish it had the right bulbous end on it, like your typical swayback knife, and maybe just a little more sway to the back. It's supposed to be a swayback, but as you can see, it doesn't really have a super big sway to it. But I'm sure that is because they're trying to keep the edge away from the open design of the knife, where you don't have that problem on a traditional swayback because it's totally enclosed. The blade's totally enclosed, so you don't have that issue. I do like the fact that the blade does fit mostly in the handle. I think that's pretty cool for the look, and that doesn't really do anything for the use. Ergonomically, in hand, the grips, all grips on this knife are pretty dang good all the way around. So very useful, very useful. Doesn't really give you a hurt and sore hand if you got to use it for a lot. And like I said, action's good. It is on bearings, which most button locks are nowadays. They've come a long ways with button locks. Some of the first button locks that came out with Elisha Elisha Witt's designs that were on Hogue knives and stuff like that were not the greatest. The detents and things weren't very good on them, so they didn't do really what you exactly wanted them to do, but they've gotten a lot better since then. So Brian Ty and Friends, he's used button locks for a long time. Same thing, not a very good detent. So I remember some of the first flipper button locks that he made, you had to flip them out, you know, you give a wrist action to give the work. But they've gotten past that now. At least Kizer has, and we and a bunch of those knife companies have. So that's good. I need a drink of water. Cheers. So do I recommend this knife? I mean, if you want just a different design, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It is kind of weird looking. I would say that, you know, as a user, it's good. It would be nice if it did have a little bit tougher steel, maybe 154 cm or something like that, but they're trying to keep the price down. So that's why the N690, and one thing about N690 at least is it's very rust proof. And if you're a guy like me that remembers when 440C was the high end thing, and then VG10 was like the super high end, then you'll know that N690 really isn't so bad. I mean, I remember when AUS 8 was really popular, and people were saying, oh, it's great steel, it sharpens up super sharp. Well, yeah, sure, but it's also dulls just as fast as it sharpens. So, and so does this. Not terribly bad, but I mean, if you use your knife and cut a lot of boxes and things like that, it is going to dull on you. So anyway, that is the Kizer Swayback. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stick around. And I'll be making more videos and be doing a giveaway soon. So when I get to, I don't know, 500 subscribers or something like that, I'll give a knife away. Might be this one. Who knows? So thanks for watching the Toad Sticker channel. Get your wife and kids. Get out and enjoy the outdoors. Toad Sticker out.